Breaking news, the NBA has unofficially announced its return. What is going on, y'all? FaizSportsTalk back at it with another video talking, of course, some NBA. And here to talk to you guys about the NBA basically announcing that they are coming back. And we've got a date. We've actually got a date. Obviously, you see it in the title, July 31st. Folks, which just so, by the way, happens to be my birthday, but that's neither here nor there. Just wanted to throw that in there. But boy, what a birthday present that would be for me, being such a huge NBA fan. But point being is, the NBA has come out, and basically we've got word that the potential return for the NBA is going to be on July 31st. So let's talk about this, right? Let's talk about this potential return. Why I've said it's unofficial, because they haven't officially announced it. But I'm going to get into all the details, how the NBA is planning to return, what's the format, what teams are returning. So everything in detail I will be reviewing. I've got it all for you guys. So with that being said, if you're new to the channel, make sure to go ahead and subscribe, especially if you're an NBA fan. Ton of NBA content on the channel, folks. You don't want to miss out. Turn on the post notifications and make sure that you are following me on my social media. Links down below as always. So, got a lot to get to. Let's get into it. So, what is the latest update with the NBA? Where am I getting this date from? Well, according to reports, the NBA is targeting July 31st as a date of return. Now, it is not official. It hasn't been like stamped like this is the date the NBA is coming back. Adam Silver hasn't come out and said this officially, but it is a very good target date for when the NBA does want to return, okay? And so that is the date they have in mind. And so that means basically they're looking to potentially have the players, come into Orlando, which is going to be the bubble site, and basically have training camps there. And then, you got to give the players at least a month to get back into basketball shape to be able to play, right? And so they are literally using this time to get the facility set up, to get the players back in and have training camps restart, okay? And then the other big update was the format, okay? The format of play. And basically, there's been 4 formats that have been proposed by the NBA, okay? Because if you remember, when the regular season was suspended, the NBA had played about 65 games out of the 82 games that they usually play. And so 80% of the regular season had been played. But you still had, a number of games, 15 to 17 or so, for NBA teams to determine the last spot. So the 8th seed, the 7th seed, those teams on the bubble, and the 9th and 10th seed. So they were still fighting for that. Now, even if you had the first couple of seeds get clinched, like the Bucks had clinched, Lakers, etc., you still had those bubble teams. So the format is important because you have to figure out, okay, which teams and how are we going to restart the format once, the NBA season restarts again. So there are basically 4 formats here that I'll be talking about. The 4 formats are like this, okay? Let's start with the first one. The first proposal is you go straight to the playoffs with the current 16 teams. So whatever 16 teams right now are the 1 through 8 seeds per the standings, those are the 16 teams that go to Orlando, which is the bubble site, and they play the season out straight from the playoffs, okay? So they basically scrap the rest of the regular season, and they just start the season with the playoffs of those 16 teams. That's the first proposal. Proposal number 2, it's a group stage, which is a World Cup style format with 20 teams. So it replaces the end of the season and the first round, and teams would be placed into 4 groups of 5 teams, okay? So they would play about 8 games total each of the rest of the regular season, and then the first round, and the top 2 teams in each group would advance to the second round. I'm not a big fan of this format because, again, it changes too much of the status quo of the playoffs with eliminating the first round and doing that. So, again, me personally, not a fan of this format, just putting that out there. The third proposal, the regular season resumes with about 22 teams playing, and then you'll have you would be playing 8 games each by those teams, followed by a play-in tournament for the final playoff seed, and then a play-in would only be for the 8th seed, okay? So that's the third proposal. And then finally, the last proposal, the regular season resumes with all 30 teams, all finishing 72 games, which I believe they need to hit a certain number for the TV contracts to be met. I know they, like I said, they played about 65, but they need to hit a certain number, like 70, 75 games, etc. But this would be 72 games, and then followed by a play-in tournament for the final playoff seed, which would be the 8th seed, okay? So the third and fourth proposal aren't bad, but here's the issue, okay? Let's talk about this. According to reports, all 30 teams returning, probably not going to happen. Why? Safety reasons. Why would you have all 30 teams return when a number of those teams all have absolutely no shot to make the playoffs? Teams like the Golden State Warriors, Minnesota Timberwolves, New York Knicks, etc., okay? Makes no sense. I agree. Just to have those teams come back and play meaningless games doesn't really make sense. So I'm not a fan of that. So you can basically throw out the fourth proposal and the second proposal. So basically you have either you go straight to the playoffs with the current 16 teams, or you have a regular season resuming with 22 teams and you have that play-in tournament. And here's the thing. The play-in tournament sounds great and nice, but here's my issue. So let's say all those 22 teams come back, and the teams on the bubble, it makes sense, right? You got teams like the Pelicans and the Blazers, and they need to play out games to determine who should get that 8 seed. But then after they play 8 games, there's still a play-in tournament for the 8 seed. Like, it doesn't make sense. I thought the games would decide, who would get the 8 seed. So if you, let's say go 6-2, and a team goes, like 3 and 5, so like which team is obviously better? The team that went 6-2, but then you still have to do a play-in tournament. Like, to me, that part doesn't really make sense. And so again, the Lakers and the Bucks and these teams that have already clinched, they're going to come back and just play these 8 regular season games, which are pretty meaningless for them because they've already clinched. What if you have an injury to Giannis? What if you have an injury to LeBron? Again, just saying. So to me, I don't really like any of these proposals that much. Like one proposal hasn't been like the best one for me. Now, again, the cleanest one is just have 16 teams go to the playoffs. And originally, I didn't think this. I changed my opinion because, again, new information, you should change your opinion if you get new information. And with these new formats, again, I agree now. It does not make sense to bring all 30 teams back. That's what I had thought initially because of the fact that it's going to be meaningless games for them. And, again, it's not worth it for the safety reasons. So the cleanest one is having all 16 teams. But then you have guys like, obviously, Damian Lillard who say, let us have a shot. And the teams like the Blazers who are on the outside looking in, totally makes sense. You got to give them a shot. So here's my proposal, okay? You basically bring, the 16 playoff teams back, and then you bring teams on the playoff bubble. Teams that literally have a legitimate shot to obviously head at the 8 seed to get into the playoffs. But I don't believe those teams that have clinched like the 1st through 7th seed should really play, unless, again, the record is very close. But basically those like first 6 teams, they shouldn't even play, and you should just have a play-in tournament for those bubble teams. And those play-in tournaments shouldn't count towards the regular season because now you've got different number of games for each team, and it just screws the whole thing up. So just do a play-in tournament for those bubble teams, determine the 7th, 8th seeds through those play-in tournaments, and then add those teams to the playoffs, and then just have your normal playoffs, 7-round series, first, second, third round, etc. Okay, because to me, if you're doing the first format, which is all the teams come back that are currently in the playoff picture, and those are the ones that move forward, those bubble teams are going to be pissed. And if you do this regular season resumes with 22 teams to play in tournament, you're having some teams play meaningless games, and you're having teams play regular season games, but then they still have to win this play-in tournament. So to me, again, none of these proposals are to me like incredibly the best ones. But the one, like I said, to me, just have the teams on the playoff bubble play those play-in tournaments. That's personally what I would do. But again, let's see what the NBA does. The NBA did also release out the survey, and a lot of GMs would rather do the playoff play-in tournament versus all 16 teams returning. Again, got no issues with that if that's what they move forward with. But proposal 1 and 3 would be my personal favorites. But here's the thing, folks. At the end of the day, beggars can't be choosers. I will take what I can get. Just give me some NBA basketball back, and that is all I need. Okay, that's all I need, and it looks like we'll be getting it back July 31st, folks, so I can't wait. I'm so excited. It's literally like going to be the best birthday present for me ever, okay, to get the NBA season back. So let me know how you guys feel about this. Which proposal do you guys like the most? Okay, leave a comment down below. Which one makes sense to you? And if none of these make sense to you that much like they didn't for me, give me a proposal, down below. I'll tweet some of these reporters and let them know, propose this to the NBA, propose this to Adam Silver, because, again, you got to have a good solution. So let me know what you guys think. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Please make sure to subscribe as always. Thanks for watching.